always thought my marriage was solid. 7 years of stability, trust, and a kind of quiet happiness I believed people envied. Rachel and I met in college and were the type of couple others called perfect. I believed it too. I believed in her. I believed in us. And I had no idea how wrong I was until the night everything fell apart in front of an entire ballroom of her co-workers. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep watching, because the best part's coming up next. 3 weeks before her company's annual holiday party, Rachel came home acting different. Not suspicious, just strange. The kind of strange that came with excitement she was trying to bury. She'd been glued to her phone, smiling at texts and quickly locking her screen whenever I walked by. When I asked what she was smiling at, she'd brush it off with a vague, just work stuff, and then change the subject. I thought nothing of it then. I should have. Rachel worked in marketing for a mid-sized pharmaceutical company, and every year I went with her to the holiday party. It was our tradition. So when she casually leaned against the kitchen counter one evening and said, "Hey, about the office party, I think maybe you should skip this year," I nearly dropped the knife I was chopping vegetables with. "What? Why?" I asked. She hesitated. I saw it. That half-second pause that should have been my first warning. "It's just... Marcus is going to be there," she said softly. Marcus. Her ex. The guy she dated for 2 years before I came into her life. The man whose name I only knew because she had mentioned him once, offhandedly, as a long-ago chapter. They'd broken up when he moved to Seattle. She'd always told me it ended amicably. I never thought about him again. "And?" I asked slowly. "And I think it would be awkward. Exes at work events can be weird. I just don't want any tension ruining the night." She sounded nervous, too nervous. "Rachel," I said gently, "we've been married 7 years. Why would I care about a guy you dated in your early 20s? "You wouldn't," she said quickly, "but he might. He's been acting nostalgic lately, asking about my life, commenting on old photos on LinkedIn. It's nothing serious. But I'd just rather keep things simple." I stared at her. "If he's making you uncomfortable, you should go to HR. "It's not that serious," she said again, too fast, like she was reading off a script. "Just this once, please. Don't come." And like an idiot, like a trusting husband, I agreed. What she didn't know was that 2 months earlier, I had been quietly interviewing for a regional director position at her company, a huge step up. 6-figure salary, corporate-level visibility. I had gone through 3 rounds of interviews with the main office, not her local branch. She had no idea. I wanted to surprise her. When the CEO personally invited me to the holiday party as my grand introduction, I thought it would be a beautiful moment. I imagined her seeing me walk in, realizing I'd become a leader at her company, feeling proud of me. I imagined a kiss, a smile, something tender. God, I was naive. Friday night arrived. Rachel spent 2 hours getting ready, more carefully than usual. She slipped into a tight black dress I'd never seen before. Classy but more revealing than her typical work wardrobe. She kissed my cheek, told me not to wait up, and headed out the door. 1 hour later, I put on my suit and quietly left. The CEO had sent a car for me, and when I arrived at the hotel ballroom, the party was in full swing. Music, chatter, champagne glasses clinking. Richard Chen, the CEO, spotted me instantly and waved me over to the executive table. And that's where I saw him. Marcus, tall, confident, dressed like he owned the place. He sat right next to the empty chair Richard gestured toward. "David, meet Marcus," Richard said. "He's our new VP of sales." Marcus shook my hand, completely unaware of who I was. Rachel and I kept different last names. She'd stayed with her maiden name for professional reasons. "Great to have you on board," he said cheerfully. "You're going to love the team here." I nodded politely, scanning the room for Rachel. She stood on the other side of the ballroom, laughing with co-workers near the bar. She hadn't seen me yet. Then Marcus's phone buzzed. He looked at it and smiled. A soft, private smile. One that churned my stomach. "Your wife here tonight?" Richard asked him casually. Marcus chuckled. "Divorced, actually. 2 years now, but..." He glanced toward the bar. "I'm working on something promising." My eyes followed his straight. To Rachel. My blood froze. Richard leaned forward, oblivious. "Anyone I know?" Marcus lowered his voice, smirking. "Let's just say I'm rekindling an old flame. We dated before she got married. Her husband's some tech guy who works from home, barely pays attention to her. She's been receptive." Receptive? I don't remember standing up. I don't remember walking across the ballroom. I don't even remember Marcus trailing behind me mid-sentence. But I remember Rachel's face when she saw me. Her smile died instantly. Her skin drained of color. Her drink fell from her hand and shattered onto the floor like a gunshot. "David," she whispered. Marcus nearly walked into me before stopping. "Wait. Do you know Rachel?" "Oh," I said calmly, too calmly. "I don't think you've met Marcus." "Oh, wait, you have. He was just telling me about the old flame he's rekindling. The married one." Marcus's eyes widened. He finally connected the dots. "You're... David?" he stammered. "Regional Director David," I corrected. "Your new boss's new boss, starting Monday." The crowd had formed a silent circle around us. Someone had even turned down the music. Rachel reached for me. "David, please, it's not what you think." I took out my phone and displayed our text thread. "You told me to stay home so it wouldn't be awkward with your ex. But according to Marcus, you've been receptive to him. So, which one of you wants to explain?" Marcus sighed. Realizing honesty was his only way out, she told me the marriage was basically over. That she was planning to leave you. She said you didn't pay attention to her. I turned to Rachel. "Is that what you told him?" Her silence was louder than any confession. 6 weeks. They'd been texting for 6 weeks, right around the time I told her I was interviewing for local jobs so I could be more present. My heart cracked. Quietly, painfully. I left the party, packed my bag, stayed with my brother. The next morning, I received the text records, pages and pages. She hadn't slept with him yet. But they planned to next weekend. He'd even booked a hotel. She told him she'd lie to me about a work conference. They flirted. They sexted. They mocked me. She called me boring, said I'd let myself go, even though I'd gained maybe 10 pounds. Complained I played video games, not knowing I did it to give her space because she asked for it. She told him I made good money, but refused to live a little, even though we were saving for a down payment on a house so we could start a family. Every insult cut deeper than the last. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. By Monday, Marcus was placed on leave. By Wednesday, he was fired, not just for the affair, but for falsifying expense reports they discovered during the investigation. He called me drunk that night, complaining I ruined his life. I sent the recording to my lawyer. I filed for divorce Thursday. Rachel tried contacting me non-stop, showed up at my brother's house crying. My brother told her to leave. She called in sick at work. Her mother, God bless that woman, even called to apologize for her daughter's behavior. By the end of the week, she cornered me in the company parking lot. She looked broken, hair messy, mascara smudged, desperation pouring out of every word. "David, please. I was invisible in our marriage. He made me feel seen. I was interviewing for a promotion that would let me be home more, I said quietly. I played video games because you said you needed space. Everything you complained about was something I did for us. She sobbed, shaking. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, please. I want a divorce, I said. And if you follow me again, I'll file a restraining order. She collapsed as I walked away. 3 weeks later, she had been moved to another department. I didn't have to see her again. Marcus fled back to Seattle. His ex-wife revoked his visitation rights, armed with the very evidence his affair had uncovered. Co-workers whispered apologies to me in coffee shops, saying they didn't realize I was clueless. They thought I knew. They assumed I didn't care, that humiliation stung in a way nothing else had. 2 months later, the divorce was final. She didn't contest a thing. She took her car, and half the savings I kept the house. I had no fight left in me. Rachel sent a handwritten letter. She apologized. Said Marcus had love-bombed her and she'd been chasing validation. Said she'd built resentment brick by brick instead of talking to me. Said she realized too late what she'd destroyed. I folded the letter away. Maybe someday it'll matter. But not today. Today, I'm doing better. I joined a gym. I've been dating casually. Work is going well. Better than well. Richard even mentioned a VP track within a year. Sometimes I think about that moment at the party. Rachel's face turning white, her whole plan collapsing in seconds. The instant she realized the man she'd lied to and dismissed was about to become her boss's boss. I don't take joy in her pain. But I can't deny the justice of that moment. Not revenge, just truth. And truth, in the end, was enough. You know, this story hits hard because it shows exactly how betrayal often unfolds. Not in one catastrophic moment, but in dozens of tiny choices someone makes in secret. What stands out most is how Rachel didn't just cheat emotionally. She rewrote her husband's character to justify her actions. And Marcus? He walked into the situation with entitlement and arrogance, thinking he could take whatever he wanted. But in the end, both of them created their own downfall. What I appreciate is that David didn't sink into revenge. He chose dignity, boundaries, and self-respect. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away and let the consequences speak for themselves. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done in David's situation? Would you have confronted them the same way, or handled it differently? Let me know. Your perspective matters.